the last video, we talked about the value of positivity, and we began to give justification for why positivity is important. Later in this study, we'll talk about the role that theology, or more specifically eschatology, has played in causing pessimism in the church. But in this video, we're going to talk about confidence. See, the dominant Christian narrative in America today is that living in the last days means that we're doomed to fail, and it is depressing to be doomed to failure. A group doomed to failure has very little curb appeal. But even though we believe that success is possible, we have not reached our goals. Believing that success is possible encourages people to push toward their goals. But believing we have already arrived at success, believing that we can't fail, or accepting the way things are just leads people to complacency. If Christians are going to take advantage of the benefits of positivity, we have to start believing there are reasons to be optimistic about the future of Christianity and the future of the church. The more you believe in your ability to succeed, the more likely it will be that you will. That kind of optimism leads to confidence. And we all know that confidence is incredibly valuable in self-motivation and in leadership. Victor Littman writes, "In hard or uncertain times, of which there are many, employees want to be guided by a leader who projects confidence. It sends the right calming message, as do its first cousins, resilience and optimism. Confidence is a leader's best friend." Tony Schwartz writes, "Confidence equals security, equals positive emotion, equals better performance." In Luke 18, when Jesus told the parable of the persistent widow who would not take no for an answer, he was encouraging his followers to have confidence in God and pray with persistence. It is faith in God that should lead Christians to pursue our Christian goals with confidence. I became the lead pastor at New Life in 2017. I was 33 years old. I had zero experience as a lead pastor, but I thought I could do it. I thought, sure, it's a big church, but I've led big staffs and helped big churches in the past. But I was completely blindsided by the weight of being in charge. The fear of failure and the weight of decision-making overwhelmed me. A few months after getting the lead pastor job, I was teaching a membership class at New Life, and in the middle of teaching, I lost vision. I literally couldn't see. I was upright and awake, but I had a pounding headache and I couldn't see. I pretended like everything was okay. I took some deep breaths and I stopped for a minute and then I kept talking. After a few seconds, I could see again. And I assumed it was a fluke until it happened again the next day at about the exact same time. And the next day, and the next day. For weeks, every day, I had the same strange episode at about the same time. I would get a pounding headache followed by temporary blindness. I had never experienced anything like it before. Eventually, my doctor told me that I was having a nervous breakdown that was causing optical migraines. That's when I started thinking about quitting my job. But before I made that decision, I decided to take a few days off to go talk to a friend who was a pastor in Cheyenne, Wyoming. He encouraged me. He told me that I can do it. He told me that he's experienced similar fears. And the encouragement he gave, mixed with just getting out of town for a while and spending some extra time in prayer, eventually made the strange episodes go away. During that year, our church's statistical numbers declined for the first time in many years. The church needed me to be confident, to take risks, to cast vision of a bright future. But that's hard to do when you're overwhelmed by doubt and fear. When I regained some confidence, I was a better teacher. I was a better leader, not to mention a better dad and husband. Did you know that when a person perceives a target is hittable, they are more likely to hit it? In one experiment, golfers were asked to putt a ball into a hole. The researchers then used other larger circles to create an optical illusion that made the hole that they were putting into look smaller. And the golfer's success rate declined. Then they used smaller circles to make the hole look bigger. and the golfer's success rate improved. Even though the hole size never changed, the golfers missed their mark more often when they thought the target was smaller. Our perception affects our performance. For people who think negatively, the range of possible outcomes of a situation is limited. When the brain is negative, it literally operates in fight or flight mode. But when your brain is positive, it can use its full range of intellectual, social, and emotional resources to recognize new ways of finding solutions. A more positive employee is more likely to see avenues for job advancement in a company. A positive student is able to see more fellowships or scholarships to apply for. A positive athlete will see more players to pass to on the field, and on and on. Positive people see the big picture when other people are distracted by the way things are and the potential for things to get worse. And that kind of fear has no place in the Christian faith. Colossians 3:23 and 24 says, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward." We would be wise to remind ourselves the importance of shooting for missional success with all of our heart. And we would be wise to remind ourselves that we have a guarantee that we will hit the target.